What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the next episode. Welcome to Module 11. It's Nathan Barnett here. So today, I'm gonna start off with a little story. Every season, I noticed this like the past 5 years before I really understood what was going on. Every time it would get really around this current time, it's like almost Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving would be tomorrow, but this usually happens for me like later October. So every time, kind of when summer's winding down, things are moving into fall, things start slowing down, things start cooling down, the days start getting shorter, nights start getting longer. I notice myself start to just feel more just tired and also wanting to just slow down. And every year before I noticed this, I would like try to just keep ramping things up and keep trying to go, and basically keep that summer energy going into the fall and the winter. And then I would ultimately find myself like feeling very sad and depressed because on one level I was trying to uphold these expectations of myself and these standards and basically this level of activity, while on the other level, like everything was telling me to just slow down, to like go to sleep, to not wake up. And there was like this kind of internal conflict, which as I've recognized now and as I've learned more and more, I realize anytime, this is just another little thing that you can take from this. Anytime that you notice that there's a gap between what actually is and the kind of the stories that you're telling yourself about how things should be, the extent of that gap creates tension because you're having to tell yourself these stories of your ideas about how things should be, which are going against what actually is and kind of your own experience, which now you're going against the flow. It's like swimming upstream. And so you're having to waste a lot more energy trying to uphold all those things, which ultimately just drains you. And it creates inner conflict, which then can lead to a lot of different things. Like I said, like for me, I felt depressed and I felt sad, and I just felt overall just everything just felt like kind of lifeless. Like I just didn't have anything to give. But once I realized that, then I recognized that, what if I attuned myself to that rhythm? If I knew that this was going to happen, if I knew that this was going to happen, then why don't I just attune myself to that rhythm? And so one year, it was like really just a few years ago, because I noticed this, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna create my schedule, and I'm gonna allow myself to experience what is coming up as I'm going through this experience. And when I did that, I noticed like I just wanted to sleep more. And so I did that. I slept more. I gave myself more space to just be. I allowed myself to just slow down. And I felt more in line. I felt like I wasn't fighting myself. And ultimately, I felt at peace. I felt that sense of happiness, just overall contentment for life come back because I didn't feel like I was fighting myself. My nose was running on here. There we go. So, if you want to create, basically be able to create that sense of contentment for yourself, to be able to live in that, happiness, because when you talk about the four doctors, Dr. Happy, Dr. Quiet, Dr. Diet, Dr. Movement, this is from Paul Chek's teachings. Dr. Happiness is the one that is very related to the rhythms and flow and the rhythms and flow of your life also have to do with the pressure that you feel. And this happens at an energetic level, like mental, emotional level, energetic level, and even at a physical level. Like if you're under a lot of stress, if you're under a lot of tension, if you're under a lot of pressure, then that, your heart pressure will actually increase. And that has to do with the aligning to the rhythms and the flow of life. So what I want to take you through today and what I want to break down for you is, today's module is aligning to the flow of life, happiness on tap, because it has a lot to do with your sense of happiness in your life, being able to align to these things. And so the very first thing is just giving you a general background of what happens in nature, which again, this isn't complicated stuff. You just look outside, you pay attention, and you can see this happening all the time. So nature goes in cycles, nature goes in seasons, and depending on where you're living at, these seasons can be more pronounced, but either way, there's a summer, which is like maximum activity. Things are very active and things are, opening up, activity, doing and executing on plans. And then there's the fall, which is things start slowing down. You're kind of, all the work that you've done in the summertime, you're kind of reaping, you're harvesting, you're reaping the rewards of that, and you're really just celebrating life. And then that's why there's a lot of holidays in the fall time, because it's just this celebration. It's this harvest time. And then winter time is the time for going inward. It's a time for just introspection, digging deeper roots, time for reflection, time for contemplation, time to really just reset everything, just reset, and then prepare for the next season, which would then be spring. And the spring is the time of kind of preparation, the time for planning, the time for cleansing, and then getting ready for another summer of activity. So this happens in nature, and it happens on a day-to-day basis. We have the night and we have the day, and that's your circadian rhythm. And then your ability to be able to align to that ultimately determines, is a big indicator, big factor in your level of overall contentment and happiness. Because remember, think about it. Any example in your life of if you're feeling a certain way, like if all you want to do is like sleep and just rest and nurture yourself, but you put yourself in a situation where you're just like working, and there's that gap again, which then creates the pressure because you're going against the flow. And so when you are able to set your life up in the sense that you can be aligned with that flow, then inevitably you will be able to, you're going with the current of life. And again, this happens on a micro cycle, so like day to day, even throughout the day. Even throughout the day, there's kind of this seasonal effect where you have kind of your morning time, that's planning, that's spring, and you've got like the midday, which is maximum work activity, and then you've got the evening time, which is kind of like you're celebrating the day, it's your fall, it's the harvest, and then you've got the nighttime, you're sleeping, that's the winter, that's the restoration. So if you pay attention, these things are happening all around because nature ultimately works in a balance. Like things are constantly oscillating, like positive, negative, hot, cold, wet, dry, summer, winter, day, night, light, dark. Things are constantly oscillating. And so you want to be able to align yourself with that if you want to be able to maximize your sense of happiness in your life, because your happiness is, I'll say it again, it's very tied up into that. All right. And so the way that you do this again, it's not complicated stuff. It's just a matter of putting the systems into place, because a lot of people think like, it's, oh, I got to stop working, I got to stop doing all these things. And really, you don't have to stop working. You just have to be mindful of your wants and needs in the particular seasons, because there's a different approach. Like for me personally, in the summertime, it's like I wake up and maybe I've only gotten like 5-6 hours of sleep, and I'm like, I'm on fire, I'm ready to go, and I can just go and execute. Whereas in the wintertime or in the fall time, like things start winding down, it's like I might wake up and it's like I might feel like I need more sleep, and so maybe I might like take things slower, maybe take an extra nap during the day, And overall, things like the intention is just slower, and it's just being mindful and aligning myself. And I'm still training, I'm still working, but the issue is that, usually in the wintertime, when it's getting close to the end of the year, most businesses are like, oh, we got to ramp things up, things are getting close to the end of the year, we got to meet our quotas, we got to do this. And it's like we're pushing ourselves even harder at the end of the year when everything else in our nature is telling us to slow down. So again, you create the structure in your life, then you're able to kind of attune to the different flows, the different seasons, the different rhythms. And one of the biggest things that has helped me with this is using the RPM system that I learned from studying Tony Robbins, because it's a way to, one, help you account for all the different areas in your life, but essentially once you set the system in place, then I like to think of it as like, you have these different knobs, these different dials for the different aspects of your life. And, each day, each week, each month, you can just turn things. You can turn them up, you can turn them down, and you can adjust the knobs to meet whatever the flow and the pace that you want to go. If you want to like move quick and you feel good, you feel very energized, you can turn things up and you can like just go and send it. But if you feel like you need to rest more, you need to take things slower, you can turn different things down to accommodate for your flow. And if you want to learn more how to do this, it's outside of the context of this video, but if you want to learn how to set this system up in your life to have that structure that allows the flow, then in the link in the description, there's a link to join my free webinar. So you can sign up for that. And I do that every Thursday. It's a live training where I break this stuff down. And then that leads into the deeper course, deeper 6-week training that we really put all this stuff into place and like basically build the foundation and then take you through the whole process of being able to ultimately manifest whatever your dream is and having the systems and the structure in place to be able to do that. But that's, obviously a different discussion. So yeah, if you want more help with that, go to the link and then sign up for the free webinar. So ultimately, again, this isn't a difficult concept, so I don't need to keep relaying the point. Ultimately, if you find yourself in a place where you feel a lot of additional pressure, you feel like you're kind of misattuning, because part of this too is you need to learn how to pay attention. Because if you're not aware of what's actually going on, then you might be pushing yourself when your body's telling you to slow down, but you're not getting the signal, you're not picking up the message. So you have to be able to firstly just grow your awareness to pay attention to how you're feeling on a day-to-day, moment-to-moment basis so that you can make those adjustments. And then just paying attention to the rhythms of your life, and even like your own circadian rhythm. So what's your rhythm of the day? Or, is it change from day to day, or are things off? Because, you want to have a kind of, some things that are set, not set in stone, but some things that are more of a ritual in your life so that you have consistency, so that your body, your physiology can align to that consistency. Like just even like your poop schedule. Like ideally your poop schedule should be something that you can predict with relative accuracy. And that has a lot to do with your sleep schedule. That has a lot to do with your eating schedule. So if all of these other things, and like your movement too, so this is kind of where the other doctors come in. Dr. Diet, Dr. Quiet, Dr. Movement, because those are the other things that create the structure around the kind of the basic necessities of your life. Like when you're resting, when you're moving, when you're active, and then when you're eating and drinking, that then sets the pace and sets the rhythm. Like think of like when you're playing an instrument, or if you're listening to music and there's a rhythm, and it moves your body. You move with the rhythm. The rhythm's faster, you kind of move faster. The rhythm's slower, you kind of move slower. It might be more fluid, but your body, you actually attune your body to that rhythm. But the same thing is happening in life, because ultimately it's all vibrational, it's all frequency. And so being able to tap into that and being able to align with that is ultimately what's going to help you create the maximum amount of happiness in your life, where essentially you've got it on tap because you're doing the things that you love to do, and you've got the structures in place to help you to make adjustments to the way that you're approaching your day-to-day, your life, to align to what's actually going on within you and around you. Remember, it's all the same shit. You know, nature's playing her rhythm, and so you want to move with that rhythm and dance to the music, because that's what we're here to do. Have fun, enjoy ourselves, be free to love and to create and to share and to experience, and create an environment in which we can all have the opportunity to create that all for ourselves. Because again, what else are we here to do? Like, why are we working so hard to make all this money? Like, what is all that for? We ultimately, we want to have this sense of happiness and sense of freedom to do the things that we want to be able to do. So align yourself, align to the flow, happiness on tap. This is Nathan Barney here. Thank you for tuning in. As you can tell too, even the way I'm approaching these videos is kind of like, it's more of a chill place. I used to think that, you know, I needed to be all like, oh, energetic and crazy all the time to get people to watch these things. But I've learned just coming from a place of authenticity and being me is the best thing that I can do for myself and for everyone that's tuning in. The people that are resonating with this, they're going to resonate with this. And that's the people that I'm talking to. This isn't for everybody, but it is for everybody. All right, so thanks for tuning in. Remember, the journey is the way. I'll talk to you next time. Peace.